And now we'll be moving on to our closing remarks from Anita Farrington.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Deborah. I'm so delighted to have been invited to speak today at the summit. I just want to especially thank Bill Suggs for his continued leadership over the years, and Deborah, the current president of the AABE student chapter, the NYU Tandon School of Engineering, who has just had such an important leadership role in putting this summit together with Bill and the membership. So kudos to you all. So I alternated today through all of the sessions and the range of content from all of the presenters and our keynote address that you just heard from Dr. Andre Taylor, who I've worked very closely with him over the years. And it's just amazing to see how much has happened since I left NYU, Andre, over the past year and a half. I'm delighted. But it was all so impactful and on point today with respect to the current state of energy issues and policies that we are facing locally and beyond. I partnered with AABE several times over a decade now. And as a matter of fact, many of the presenters at this summit today were introduced to me by Bill Suggs over the years. And then I would tap them on the shoulder, bring them into my annual Diversity in STEM Summit, and I realized that 3 out of those 8 or 9 summits all focused on the field of energy. So I attribute my interest in energy policy to AABE, and especially the urgency to bring program content and career pathways around smart cities and sustainable environments to my students when I served as Dean of Student Affairs for many years at the Tandon School of Engineering. So I just have to say, Bill, you have no idea when we met first and you brought me into this arena, I am forever grateful for the impact that AABE has had on me personally and professionally. In 2013, I recall asking Jerry Dawes and Bill Suggs, why are there only 2 or 3 student collegiate chapters of AABE in the country? It seemed to me that this was an opportunity to on-ramp our students into energy careers and into the workforce. So I said that in 2013, and we chartered 1 year later the student chapter in the Northeast at NYU with Jerry and Bill's support. And now, once again, 9 years later, I'm asking the same question. Why are there still so few collegiate chapters of AABE in the country? So there are 2 things that I know for sure, which were underscored today by the panelists, by our last keynote that you heard. We are indeed at a point when we cannot walk on the journey to net zero. We have to run. Some of us are already running like Usain Bolt, and kudos to them. But if we want to ensure that there is a pool of talented African American students at this table and in this race and entering into our energy corporations that are conducting research in scientific labs, in our national research labs, Department of Energy labs, who are becoming green social activists in our urban communities. They're becoming green entrepreneurs. We cannot be complacent. We can't be complacent. There has to be more intentional programs and a model by AABE chapters. So I'm about to throw down the gauntlet now. And Bill knows, because I warned him that I was going to bring this to the forefront today. I believe that we really have to just meet the challenge, AABE chapters nationally, AABE National getting behind it to expose our K through 12, through college, through postdocs. We must pick up the gauntlet to do this. And I believe that this can be accomplished, really focusing on increasing the number of AABE collegiate chapters in the country. So thing 2 that I know is that we also have to be innovative and open. And we may have to throw out some of the former blueprints and plans to do this, how we can accomplish this. What I just described to you, the K through 12 and beyond, that's the old structured, traditional education pipeline where, quite frankly, our students of color in particular were falling out permanently. That was the world view for many years. But there is a new reimagined STEM cradle to workforce model, and it's called the Braided River model. And this is what I have begun to embrace because it is more sensitive and more inclusive, especially of African American students. So if you can picture this, the river flowing, a collection of paths that change and adapt to the needs of the individual. Makes sense? I'm talking about our students, our African American students. They can on ramp different points. If they on ramp late in the game, they can still be successful. And I'm just going to say that there are examples of organizations.gov, high schools that are doing this now. NYSERDA, who we heard from in one of the panels today, they have training programs and internships that they are beginning to offer to high school students. They've been doing this actually for a while. They're not just beginning to do it. This is key because there are ways for students who may be interested in the field of energy. Perhaps they are not college ready to on ramp into energy fields, right? They learn during high school and then they pick it up and continue and can pick up community college credits down the road. And then another example, Bill Suggs just partnered with the principal of Bedford Academy, who you heard from. She was one of our moderators earlier this morning, Clooney Lavach, and launched the sustainability course for credit for high school students. And it's now part of their curriculum. These are models. Of course, I would love to see this in every public school. We should get this to Eric Adams, my dear friend. He's done a lot in the field of coding, code for a day, but we need to really take this up to the next level in terms of getting programs like this in our high schools. So in my new chapter, post NYU, as a consultant, I launched my company STEM Impact to really address these gaps. And there are many corporations and not-for-profits who are doing good work already in the field, but they're still not getting the ROI in terms of a more talented, in terms of a broader, talented, diverse pool. They don't always like what they hear from me, but when I ask them, do you really want to get these students to your table at the NSBE convention or the AABE career fair? Then let's plan strategically. Because you really have to put the work in before you reap the benefits and rewards to get them to the table at that career fair. And a lot of this is built on relationships and leveraging partnerships with area schools, high schools, like the example that I just gave, colleges, universities, and communities to develop and mentor this talent. Many chapters around the country, corporations, they give scholarships to high school students. But you see, here's the difference in those examples that I gave that AABE-NYMAC is doing. They're creating a talent pool to recruit from. And that's the mindset, that's the pivot that we need to begin to think about. So I personally know the impact of a STEM program intervention model. I'm a NSBE junior advisor with my Greater New York Links chapter. I have very high achieving African American female students, and many of the programs over the years that I've delivered have had an energy focus. And as a matter of fact, they will be seeing parts of this summit. I've asked them to create a net zero wish list. They can focus on their classrooms or in their schools, within their home or the community. And of course, I'm giving them cash prize incentive just to make it a little more interesting. So there are innovative ways that we all can approach it. I'm hoping that we leave today's summit tomorrow thinking about these ways. I close today with that example of my NSBE Junior chapter, and I circle back to the earlier question, but I'm answering it this time. Once again, we must begin to grow more AABEs. And my vision board, on my vision board, there are also high school chapters that will be associated with those collegiate chapters. So please, let's continue. Let's ensure that we're doing our part to inspire African American students at many points along the river, that I described. I hope that you will spread the word to your energy professionals. I know there are a lot of you who have joined us today. I'm preaching to the choir, but please help. Please continue to get the word out about these innovative ways that we can make these interventions to really capture the talent of our African American student. It's not just about growing your pool, it's just the right thing to do. And it aligns with the AABE mission from an energy policy standpoint, and teaching and mentoring to empower them to give voice to these issues that all of you have been addressing today. So I thank you. Thanks again to all the panelists, the time. I know what kind of time it takes. Andre, it was wonderful seeing and hearing about you. It takes time to put into something like this. So thank you, folks, and thanks for the invitation.